everyone, I am Tacit, and are you ready for some Bounty Hunter? So, today, Campaign 12, Week 2, Day 5. So today, of course, we got ourselves the Bounty Hunter event. This one specifically for the Priestess of Light, I believe it was called. The Priestess of Light. As far as what it does, it destroys a column, barriers a random ally, and gives them a bunch of armor. Boosted by yellow gem destroyed. It is essentially useless, even in the context of that of Bounty Hunter. There's already some things that can barrier better than her, either because they can target something directly, or because they can spam it more frequently than what she's capable of doing. Unless I'm forgetting of something, there's also, I don't believe, anything that really armor boost ratios in Bounty Hunter. So the extra armor isn't really doing much, as you're, at least later in the game, you're generally not dying in Bounty Hunter, and if you are, you're ever so occasionally losing your first slot twice, because Ogres is your first slot. So not only do you have to lose the entirety of your Ogress, but you also have to lose the entirety of your Fortress Gate after the Ogress dies. So that's generally exceedingly unlikely, at least in the context of Bounty Hunter later in the game. So you don't really need that extra durability that she would end up applying. Basically meaning you're only using her for a mana accumulation. That mana accumulation is very underwhelming compared to other things that can simply just exist. But, of course, we will still end up getting her maxed, mostly because unlike things like the Underworld, where it's quite a bit easier to get the troop maxed at a later point, getting this thing maxed at a later point is very, very annoying and resource intensive, and it is actually cheaper to spend the 710 gems when the event comes out, rather than doing it at a later time. So that's exactly what we shall do. Even though our gem stack has been suffering lately. Gosh, that gem stack! We need to get on that gem grind. We need to start opening those vault keys or something, gosh, because we're about to throw another 710. It's almost back to 20,000. It was like 30,000 something. But it has slowly declined. And of course, we will only buy to tier 5. Reason for this, even though this only gets it to legendary. Apparently they also have some gem sale, probably for Thanksgiving. Trying to sell some gems for Bounty Hunter, I see. But anyways, let's go and upgrade this thing. I never did upgrade the other two. Wait, we had enough copies for Flame Rhinox? Interesting. Okay, we actually recently got enough copies for Flame Rhinox. Let me go max them then. Might as well. I guess we got that the other day. Actually, I might have literally got that last night. I didn't even realize it. Let me double check. Let's see. Yeah, we got it 2 days ago and I didn't even realize it. Not last night, but the previous night. We had enough copies to max out Flame Rhinox. Which means we probably have enough copies to max out, what's it called? Soon. But I think it needs another 5 after that. No, that is the final 5. No. Yeah. That's the final 5 it needs. Is in tomorrow. Not today, but tomorrow. Oh wow, that came up really quick. I kind of forgot how close we are to the end of this thing. And then, of course, we get that useless magic buffer. His final trait's interesting, but his ability just doesn't scale in magic. If it did, it would be worthwhile. And a legendary troop just seems so underwhelming. Honestly, the free weapon you get is better than the legendary troop you get. Even though the legendary troop is better for like a upgrading kingdom perspective, the actual usefulness of the weapon is way higher than the actual usefulness of that troop there. But anyways, what was it doing? Bounty Hunter. Did I ever finish maxing this troop? I think I got distracted because I sold the upgradable stuff. Let me go finish upgrading this. Of course, we're only going to do it to legendary because we use the orb for mythic. Make sure to use the smaller one. The smallest. Don't accidentally use a power. Could you imagine? Okay, let's go get all the traits. And this is a rare, so we can go upgrade her directly if we so choose. By that, I mean fully metaling her as well. Does White Helmet even need another one? I don't know. Let's see. Let's go for, I mean, go for it. So, we do have enough. Good. I was going to say, do we even have enough? We do indeed have enough. So I'm going to go... Oh, wait! I should have went for 3 guard first. I keep forgetting. Not keep forgetting. I normally actually do remember to do that. But we don't need guards anymore, so I should 3 guard every rare for the first level. Instead of using a Yasmin. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, what's the stats you even getting? It's getting 4 magic, 4 HP, and 4 armor. So a nice little mix there. Unfortunately, that's not going to make it viable, but a little bit extra stats it wouldn't hurt it. I highly doubt it's even going to come into play this Bounty Hunter, or even at all, under any circumstance. And of course, we covered the Bounty Hunter team on Monday. because it's the same thing it's been forever. Ogres, Tagraki, Corpse Mirror, and whatever the bounty captain is. And let me go copy paste that team, and we're good to go. Okay, let's go do bounty hunter. We got everything set up. We're not gonna do the entirety of bounty hunter tonight, but I figured we get a good chunk of it in. Anyways, there we go. Okay. Also, hello everyone, by the way. Hello, Genki. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Bill. Hello, Clip Bomb. Also, thank you for the continued support. Greatly appreciated. Hello, Roman. Hello, Tyrion. Hello, Logic Slayer. Hello, Ricardo. Hello, Roman. Hello, hello, Henry. Hello, Draco. Hello, Jonian. Hello, Supernova. Hope the Thanksgiving was as good as you. Oh yeah, it was really good. That's the reason why we were late. I mentioned it in chat, but I didn't actually mention it on stream yet. Gosh, I had the Thanksgiving leftovers today, and it knocked me out about as much as it did yesterday. And I overslept slightly, which is funny because I actually woke up like ever so slightly before the stream, but then was still so drowsy that I laid down for another second, and that 1 second lasted like 20 minutes. Oh yeah, but I don't know. It really knocks me out for some reason. But we're almost done with all leftovers. I'll be finishing the very last little bit of it tomorrow. We didn't have like a super high amount. Mostly because we gave a good portion of it to part of our family. So we didn't have as much. Like we made a lot of food. But we, you know, we didn't keep a lot of the food. So it will be finished up by tomorrow night. Anyways, hello, Defiant. Hello, everyone else, hello too. Hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Emanator. Pad for the mouse keeps falling. And by pad, I mean like literally towel. I need to find like towels that don't slip off. That are like literally clip it to the desk on the little bar part. Oh, speaking of desk, the double TV setup we might have soon. That won't really be too applicable for anything Gems of War related. However, I will be able to double stream some console games soon. That's probably only noteworthy for Pokemon. Because I can't think of any other context I would use that at the moment. But yeah, I'll probably have that set up by hopefully Sunday. Probably not tomorrow. But by Sunday, we should hopefully have that set up. If not by Sunday, definitely sometime early next week. Because desk finally ended up coming in. Still need to make sure it's the correct dimensions and everything before I need to return it. From the measurements I did, it should be fine. But you know, not everything is exactly as it should be sometimes. But based on the measurements, it should be fine. You did, Tyrion? Ooh. Yeah, I definitely need one. You know what I was actually hunting a little bit earlier today? I was trying to hunt a 0 attack and 0 speed Ditto. I found a 0 attack one within like 10 minutes. The other one, I have tried for over 2 hours and have not seen one. It is being so absurdly elusive. Because I needed to go breed some competitive Pokemon before the start of next month, when you can actually start using them competitively. And that means I need to actually get zeros for some stats. And gosh, is it so annoying to get the initial Ditto in this game. Because unlike in other games, where, you know, you just run up to it, and, you know, it's there. In this game, you basically have to, like, it disguises itself as a different Pokemon, so you have to, like, hunt and figure out which one it is. Like, there's ways to cheese it, because if you hold, like, the lock-on button, it'll say its actual name. And when it says a name that doesn't match the Pokemon, you know it's a Ditto, because it literally says Ditto. But, still, it is probably the most annoying game ever to actually mass catch Dittos. I have not seen a single Pokemon game where it is harder to do such a task. So thank you, Andrew, for the continued support. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Also, Jinky, congrats on getting your computer set up. Hope everything goes well. Apple pie with whipped cream? Nice. They didn't have any at the store. That sounds really good. Yeah, we ended up just having our own made cheesecake. Which is kind of funny because my mom did end up picking up pumpkin pie. However, she accidentally got it made containing nuts, so I wasn't able to have any. So I have not had any pumpkin pie this year. It's really hard to find non-nut containing pumpkin pie that isn't homemade. Like, it is absurdly hard. Like, it's one of those things you wouldn't think is hard until you have a nut allergy. And then you realize it's one of the most impossible tasks ever invented. Ditto raids. The problem with Ditto raids is guaranteed IVs. Because for whatever reason, Pokemon to this day has still never added a way to hypertrain to zero, nor a way to guarantee zeros. So having guaranteed IVs, which all raids are, it lowers your chance that you'll actually get one correctly. So there's actually a higher chance of getting one from the wild than it is from a raid. Even if it takes longer to get them from the wild. Which is probably the first game ever where it's actually slower to get them from the wild. Because their catch rate is not that good. And you have to figure out where they are. SS Logic Slayer mentioned, definitely feel free to like the stream. Also, I feel like I'm talking about Pokemon too much, but... In other news, Gems of War Bounty Hunter. Let's see, what do we need here? Take that one over there. It's kind of funny because sometimes when I'm talking on stream, I don't even realize I'm, like, playing. Because it's such, like, second nature at this point. Since we have so many hours. Like, we just naturally go through the motions. Regardless if we realized it or not. I find that funny because even if I have, like, I do that a lot, too, if I'm multitasking and playing Gems of War. Where, like, we might be doing, like, a semi-hard fight. The Bounty Hunter's not that hard. But, even when we do, though, like, I might not even be realized that I'm, like, not even focusing on the game, yet still playing it correctly. Or at least semi-correctly. I'm pretty sure we miss a lot of extra turns from that, though. Because it definitely doesn't allow for as much board scanning as you would normally do with full focus. But yeah, I'm not sure what it is about Thanksgiving food. I have been so drowsy since Thanksgiving. Is it just like the combination of food? Or maybe turkey itself? Because I generally don't have turkey that often. So it could be that. Because I generally try to stay away from most meats. And I still have them on occasion. Especially for holidays. Oh, 1 HP, what are you doing? Oh, it's gonna be one of these kind of bounty hunters, isn't it? Where they always want to survive just ever so barely. Pumpkin pie is only edible when drowned in whipped cream. I actually use a lower ratio of whipped cream on pumpkin pie than I do on cheesecake. I'm not sure why that is. Like, don't get me wrong, I still use a lot of whipped cream. But the actual ratio tends to be a bit lower. And I'm not sure why. But I do happen to put less whipped cream on something like pumpkin pie than I do on cheesecake. I guess because with cheesecake, it's more similar. So it doesn't hurt to put more. Whereas it is possible to drown out the taste of pumpkin pie. Even though it has more of a unique taste. 1 HP still. Come on, I even gave you more armor to make it more likely we'd one-shot you. And you still survive with exactly 1 HP. Also, I haven't really casted a new troop. I'm actually going to need it here for once. To get our mana accumulator up. I gotta do some mana accumulation to get our mana accumulator to mana accumulate for the rest of the team. Potato salad is the best salad. I actually had not had any potato salad this Thanksgiving. Though potato salad is good. I actually haven't had it in months now that I think about it. I can't even think of the last time I had potato salad. You know one thing I randomly grew hungry for today, though? Though I didn't end up getting it because obviously Thanksgiving leftovers. I want to finish off first. But, gosh, what place was that? Domino's basically had like a cheese dip thing. And it's like probably one of the dumbest things to get at Domino's. But gosh, I am such a sucker for dips, and it is so good. It's like some kind of newer item. It is so overpriced as well. But, I don't know. I just like it a lot. And what the worst part is, it's probably a limited time item on their menu. Because it's probably not going to sell good enough. Which happens with like every single item I love with a fast food place. I think the main one I can't get over is why on earth McDonald's no longer sells the wraps. Like, I will literally be the customer that will make it viable for them to start selling wraps again. With how much we will end up getting it. And the fact that they stopped doing fruit parfait. I used to get those all the time, too. Like, they got rid of all their healthy options. Like, McDonald's, probably more so than any fast food place, has gotten rid of, like, literally every item that would ever make me walk through the door. So aren't they getting rid of the McRib? Like, what's with them getting rid of everything? Though the McRib was not that good. Unlike the wraps and the fruit parfaits. Like, it's not bad, but it's, I don't know, it's a average item. I know, it was such a convenient thing to get on the go, the fruit parfait thing. Especially if you don't feel like making your own. Because then you have to cut up all the fresh fruit and everything. It was just easier getting the dollar thing from McDonald's. Of course, they kept making it smaller and smaller over the years. Until they made it so small that it doesn't even exist on the menu anymore. But, I don't know, it's still good. You missed the, oh wait, what was Isabel mentioning? Let's see, the bike turned out to be, electric type. But can't be other types for other people? What do you mean? Oh, you can change the terror type of your dragon in, that game. You have to use those terror shards for it, though I would probably keep it as electric. But no, your version's always electric by default. It's dragon during the storyline mission for lore purposes. And then it's electric when you catch it, after the fact. But it is possible to change it from electric, though there really isn't much of a need to. Because it's probably one of its better types to have. Similar, I have no intention of changing mine from fighting. Also, when did he get a kill on us? Also, wait, does this thing have Devour? Oh no, is this the final fight? This better not be the final fight. There better not be a Devour on this week's final fight. That would make it one of the hardest bounty hunters to ever occur. We're about to lose? It's possible to lose bounty hunter? I think we lost. Unless we get really lucky on Cascades. Wait, this better not be fight number 20. That's so bad if there's Devour on final fight. This will be one of the first times in a while where we might do one of the fights prior if this is final. Because there's no way we're fighting a Devour option on final option. It's just too much to have to deal with. Because if it gets lucky, we auto lose. Which, guess what happened this battle? This is already over. I might as well just retreat. You don't get, like, spare points for completing it out. There's no way we're killing it at this point. Without it, like, devouring us again already. Okay, good. Well, we don't know what 20 is, but gosh, we gotta really pay attention to the Glutmaw. Okay, first things first, kill the Glutmaw. He doesn't have stealthy, right? He doesn't. Good. Could you imagine? That would have been so bad. But yeah, he better not be on the final fight. We're doing battle number 19, assuming it is on final, but not on the one prior. But hopefully the final just doesn't happen to have him. Right, but yeah, we need to full focus him before we die again. Like, immediately. Yeah, that is a super high threat. I make sure to hit at least 2 reds here so I can get Tagraki. Tagraki. I still love saying that word, by the way. There is not a single name in the all of, like, the 1,200 troops that are in Gems of War that I like saying more than Tagraki. That and Marilith. I'm not sure what it is about those two names. But I just love saying them. Our family tradition is a double layer pumpkin pie. Oh, that sounds good. I don't think I've ever had a double layer pumpkin pie. But what do you do? Put like cream in the middle? Bottom layer is cream cheese. Ah, yeah, I see. Okay. Is cream cheese based. And then pumpkin. Ooh. That's rather interesting. I've never actually had it that way before. I've had both those two things individually, but never combined together. To some degree, I already had the cream cheese parts. But yeah, that would taste kind of good. But also balance out the taste of the pumpkin pie. Because some pumpkin pies can be overly bearing. Also, I should probably kill this guy before he devours my whole team. The biggest issue if he devours Tagraki first. Because if he gets rid of Tagraki first, we just auto-lose. Which is what happened in the other battle. Okay, he did not get a Devourer on his first click. That is good. We actually get to live for several seconds. Oh yeah, let me throw that down. But yeah, as long as he doesn't take out Tagraki, even if he gets a Devourer, we should be okay. Let's go for a Surge. Hit him directly. Good thing he doesn't have Stealthy. He definitely looks like a troop that should have Stealthy. But good thing he doesn't. I'll catch you later, Club Bomb. Thanks for lurking. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. That's the Devour's Corpse Mare. Honestly, I'd be okay if it devoured Corpse Mare. I just don't want it devouring Tagraki. Because Tagraki has boost ratio based on the armor it would have stolen from us. Speaking of which, that reminds me, am I even running 20% into 8 magic? I feel like I am. I should probably double check. Because I know I was running some other metals earlier. And may have forgotten to actually switch back. Which I don't do too often, but I've definitely done before. Where I'll switch to a different, weirder metal setup. And then completely forget to switch back to the one that actually matters. Because there's definitely metal setups that are more used than others, that's for sure. Like 20% 8 magic or 12 magic, similar things. Oh, we're still on it, just making sure. Because that's the right metal setup, like probably 70% of the time. Also, while I'm here, did I donate gold this week? I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I sometimes forget. Because if I don't do it on Monday night, I will like forget to do it the entire week to donate gold. Anyways, let's keep going. Finally get to see the final battle soon. Which I assume has no Devourer. Let's hope so. Because if it has the Devourer option on final, this is definitely going to be our first week in quite a while that we're going to be doing the one before final. Because there's no way we're going to have to deal with that. It's just not going to be worth how much of a time sink it'll be every time it randomly gets its proc off. Even if we deliberately go all in to make sure it dies. It's just not worth the liability. Because a single Devourer will waste like 3 minutes. Assuming the Devourer's on non-Tagraki. Otherwise, if it's on Tagraki, we just kind of lose. We kind of just instantly lose. Oh, so why did I take that one? I was even thinking the other one. Not sure what value prospect I was thinking of getting there. Because the other one would have instantly got our mana accumulator up. Luckily, he's already up, so it doesn't matter too much. For now, he is. Because that's basically the only thing we're using this for. I guess maybe for a little bit of Devour protection. But, we're using it... Oh, no, I needed that mana. But we're using it pretty much entirely to get that last little bit of mana back on our mana accumulator or on something else that we end up needing it on. Just a little small mana poke, and that's it. That's its entire purpose. Alright, once we go for each final battle, we'll go hand out a redeem code. So hello, analysts. Any reason to spend the gems to get the new troop when you could just try the free matches? Yes, you can get a lot of reward off the free matches. I would say the main value in getting it all the way max is to get the troop maxed. That's pretty much the only reason why I actually spend gems on Bounty Hunter. If it wasn't for the troop, I probably wouldn't spend a single gem. Like, if it didn't bring in a new troop every single Bounty Hunter, I probably would not spend a single gem on the events. Because you're not really getting too much from the extra rewards, for the most part, other than, like, some major orbs and a few other goodies here and there. But, the free side definitely gives a lot of loot. But the main reason I do the 710 gems into a blue orb is mostly because it's a really annoying, after the fact, to get the troop maxed. Because if we want to go get this troop maxed, we have to wait 4 to 6 weeks. And then, after waiting that 4 to 6 weeks, we essentially have to wait until either an event key drop table for it, or wait until it's in a Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest. And once it's in Glory and Gold keys, we can then go and open for them. But then we have to go dump a bunch of those keys all at once. And it's just really inconsistent to try to get the troop. Because the reason I skip it for Underworld is you can always target it. After the 4 to 6 weeks, you just target the faction, you get several copies of it, either 1, then double blue orbit, or 6 and then single blue orbit, and then you're good to go. Hey, there's no Devour on the final fight. Nice, okay, we got saved. All's good. Okay, there's no Devour option on the final fight. Okay, that was going to be very scary if so, but yeah, we can actually do battle number 20. Perfect, okay, that's fine. Perfectly fine with that. Let's see, we'll take that down. Get a pokety poke. Get another little bit of mana accumulation there. You just got back from raiding your sister's food stash? Nice. That's funny. Let's see. What do we need to throw a poke on you? Is there even a threat on this final fight? Seems like it has nothing. What does Hag even do again, this Hag? Some true damage, then summon a random Hag. That's fine. That's better than Devouring. Though, a summon is a little bit annoying in this mode, though luckily almost all summons get one-shotted. So summon's not as big a deal compared to some other locations. Like, it delays the inevitable, but it doesn't delay the inevitable that much. As even at this max difficulty, I'm pretty sure every summon is one-shottable to most things. At least with how many stats we have anyways. Oh gosh, it just got skull cascaded like crazy. So we're almost there already. Kind of. Okay, let me go ahead to the code. I said once we hit the final loot, we would go do it. We're still going to go a little bit further, though. I'm not going to get all the points. I think we're going to get to the halfway point this stream. But there you guys go. Here's the redeem code. Use it on gemsofwar.com or for the game code section. Your invite code found in your settings menu. Redeem code right over there in chat. Just copy paste the random numbers and letters. And give same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Yeah, I think we'll go to about 125,000 and finish the rest off tomorrow. So we're going to go do all of the other objectives we need to get done this stream. Of which there are a handful of them, of course. The main one probably being getting the 10 crowns for today. As I want to go finish the battle pass already. We're almost there. Unfortunately, not too much to really go over in this battle pass. It is definitely the lowest, or not the battle pass, whatever we call it, the kingdom pass. Because there's 2 different ones. If I call it battle pass, it'll be confusing. Because there's the kingdom pass that's going on right now and the campaign pass. What I'm referring to specifically is the kingdom pass. But the kingdom pass specifically has really bad value this time around, unfortunately. It's definitely the most skippable it's ever been. Though the season pass, however, is still good value this season. But I still ends up getting both. But from the kingdom pass specifically, there's not really much to go over even once we do get them. Because once you get that one magic buffing troop, it's not good enough to viably use. Unless they change it so his ability also scales on magic, in which case it'll be usable. It actually might even become slightly meta, but that's not how it is, so that's not currently the case. Unless they're going to change it. The other one is that weapon. The weapon's actually on free side, though. So it's not like you need paid side to actually get it. Hey, 69. But you get it on the free side, so you don't even need the paid side to get it. And the key legend that you get's kind of underwhelming. The weapon that we get, we already showed that one stream. And I didn't even bother covering a video on it just because it's pretty underwhelming. Doesn't really do much. Like, it's a really gimmicky weapon. It's definitely a fun weapon to use, but it's mostly a gimmick more so than good. And while those are kind of fun just to kind of mess around with, they're just not usable for anything. Like, you'll mess around with it a little bit once you finally obtain it and then, like, never use it again. And that's where it's currently sitting in our weapon pile. And there's just some kind of really weird restriction in the future where it's actually, like, semi-viable. It'll pretty much never get used unless you're just really looking for that mechanic. If nothing else, it's a good alternative to Elemental Flame if you don't have that really old paid weapon. That used to be free a couple times, but is now like a $5 money locked weapon. Because there's a somewhat similar mechanic to that, in that you get to choose where you want to put a red gem on the board. It's one of only a few color types where you can choose where one of the gem goes onto the board, and then it creates randomly some other gems. In the case of that weapon, diagonally. In the case of Eternal Flame, it does it based on complete random. It just puts them wherever. Whereas the newer one does it in a diagonal. and specifically burning gems, which are still red gems, but you know, burnier. More fire-like. How has the Ogres worked out so far? Oh, the Ogres boost? It's been nice. The Ogres boost might not seem like much, but 5 to everything does a couple things. But yeah, I didn't think about that. Isn't this the first bounty hunter since the Ogres boost? I believe you're right. Because I've used it for Guild Wars since then. However, I don't think I've actually used it for bounty hunters since then because, you know, we couldn't. This is the first bounty hunter, I believe, since then. But yeah, it's good. It allows you to do a couple things. It allows you to pressure slightly more with skulls. As you can see, it's actually our highest skull damager due to having 5 to all stats. Even though it's normally would kind of be like the middle range. But due to having 5 to all stats, it is now the highest range. So it has that going for it, which is convenient while in first slot. The most noteworthy thing is that, even though not in this exact context right now, the 5 HP can generally end up giving it an extra explode. And while we're not specifically getting that ourselves from this 5 to all stats right now, that is definitely something that a lot of people would benefit from, depending on what point they are within the game, as those 5 to all stats could be the jump from an extra HP value. In this particular case, that's not what we're getting, unfortunately. However, that 5 HP can be the difference of 1 extra explode, which can help clear out more of the board, because she's not a full board clear. She clears a lot of the board, but not the whole board. And having 1 extra explode gets just that little bit extra board destroyed every single time. So it might not seem like much, but it definitely helps out a good deal. Unfortunately, we are not benefiting from that due to our current value, not actually gaining a benefit from the extra 5. Like, obviously, it makes her ever so more durable, but only every increment of 10 will actually give us an extra explode. Having halfway doesn't give us half an explode, though that would be kind of funny. Imagine if instead of, like, 1 extra explode, it does, like, 1 extra gem destroy or something. It's not how it works, but though it would be funny if it did. Okay, we'll throw that down. Not sure why I'm trying to go for him first. I guess because... excuse me, he keeps HP scaling, and I'm scared of him going too out of control. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to need a workout. Honestly, I've been needing to exercise more. I've been slacking on it recently. With the holidays coming up, or, you know, even more of it next month, I'm going to put on way too much weight. My weight has fluctuated a lot the last couple years. I've been as high as like 230 and as low as like almost under 200 again. But now I'm back at like 210, 215. I think closer to 215. Does that mean more ring fits? I'm not sure. I still need to fix up my room, which should happen as soon as I get that cabinet down. Because one issue with my room right now is I'm lacking just like a slight amount of storage space. And that slight lack of storage space is making it so there's like a gigantic pile in my room of boxes. I still need to get situated. Like, this house doesn't have a particularly high amount of storage. That is becoming increasingly evident. But yeah, I have a solution for that. Even though I'm primarily using that solution so we can have a double TV setup, which will allow us to double stream as well. But even though I'm primarily using it for that, it's also doubling as a lot of storage space that I didn't previously have. Because that area right now is basically just one table that has the router and some other junk on it. Whereas now it's actually going to be a storage area. So the area will be used much better than it is now. And I should have that set up later this weekend. Probably won't before tomorrow's stream, but I should hopefully before the end of the weekend. If not the end of the weekend, definitely very early next week. Depends how annoying it is to set up the thing. It is one of those you have to assemble. And I'm definitely not the best at assembling things correctly. We can assemble things. If it'll be correct or not is within question. It's not even that I'm bad at following directions, necessarily. It's just that... oh no, it just doesn't work. There's something about building something is not something I'm particularly good at all. I know. A New Year's resolution: start playing Ring Fit Adventure again. I don't know. Maybe we'll start back up again. We'll see. My only concern with Ring Fit Adventure is the ratio of squats to my willingness to do squats. That's the only thing that really keeps me from playing Ring Fit Adventure, and the reason to this day I have not finished it, despite it existing for like 3 years now or something, is mostly because the game requires you to do way too many squats. Like, I haven't even finished the game yet, a single time. And I have already done more squats in that game than I have probably done my entire life combined. It just makes you do so many. Oh, Valraven's gonna escape. Oh no. Okay, good. We're fine. For now. I know what my Chagraki's hitting next. Or it tries a second time. Which I might actually get away with. Oddly enough, it has nothing blocking on yellow. Which is kind of scary. Now, let me take that yellow before he gets us. Come on, Chagraki. You got this. I just need a little bit more mana. How do we do this? I want to, like, try to deny it somehow. Probably should just Ogres. Okay, he's used everything. I need an extra turn. Go. Good, we did get an extra turn. Summers and all that mess. Okay. Somehow Valraven did not escape. It's not too big a deal if it did, because we have enough sigils over the course of the weekend that, you know, we could miss it a couple times and it's still fine. Though I'd prefer not to. Just in case, because there is an X number of Valravens, which I'm not actually aware what the number is these days. I think it's like 3. That we're allowed to miss before it's actually detrimental. Where that will actually prevent us from getting all the way. But I think it's somewhere like 3 or 4. I'll catch you later, Isabel. Oh, you're still grinding that event? Yeah, it is quite a grind. I'm trying to get only the level 75 ones. And I only got 5. Though in all fairness, I haven't grinded it too much specifically. But yeah, I've only found 5 so far. Out of, how many types are there? 18? So I'm only like 1/3 the way done. Almost. Well, technically one more will be 1/3. Though technically not, because the first 1/3 is the easiest. Obviously the last 1/3 will be the hardest. So we're technically like less than 1/4 the way there. Let's see. It's not too big a deal if I get all of them, though. I figured it'd be a fun goal. Though there really isn't much of a need to have every Terra type of an Eevee. There are definitely some Pokemon where that would be relevant for. Eevee's not one of them. Well, Eevee is cute. It is not particularly viable. Except for a couple of its types. Most notably, probably Umbreon is probably my favorite, as far as like actually using it as a Pokemon rather than what it looks like. Though I do like its shiny as well. Oh yeah, that reminds me. That's something I didn't even think about. This generation of Pokemon will be the first generation where we get to use 1 billion shinies once we bring over Legends Arceus. Because I didn't bother ever really bringing any of my shinies from Legends Arceus into Sword and Shield. But I will for next-gen Pokemon, which is already here, but, you know, we don't have home compatibility till early next year. Because we're going to have a shiny of, like, literally every shiny that exists in that game. Which is not every single one that's in specifically Scarlet and Violet, but every single one that was in Legends Arceus, we have, like, at minimum 1 of, if not, like, 12, due to grinding it so much. Because we got a living shiny dex in that game, with a few exceptions from Rifts. But most of the exceptions I got in Sword and Shield breeding anyway, so it's not too big a deal. Also, I hope that's something that the DLC addresses for Scarlet and Violet. There are so many things that are actually easier to grind in Sword and Shield than it is in the most recent game. Which I'm not sure if they did that for balance reasons or what. But due to that, it is actually quicker to send things from once home compatibility comes out, to send things from Scarlet and Violet that exist in Sword and Shield back to Sword and Shield just to go upgrade it. Despite it seeming like that would take a lot more time, it would actually be substantially quicker due to how much quicker some things are. Because I was timing it today, because I was EV training, not to be confused with the actual Pokemon Eevee, but I was EV training the stats of a team of Pokemon, and I was timing it to see like, oh, how long does this take? And I was doing it at decent efficiency, and it took about 30 minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot for 5 Pokemon, But compared to before, where you could do it in like 3 minutes for one and do it to any stats you wanted pretty quickly, compared to having to do it almost to like max stats unless you really want to calculate out everything over the course of half an hour. Which I guess if you break it down comes out to like, what, 5 minutes per thing? Or technically like 6 minutes per thing, actually. But, I don't know, compared to before, it easily takes over double the amount of time. Plus, you were forced to have to do 5 at a time rather than just doing a one-off one. Because if you just want one upgraded, you kind of have to do 4 others. Otherwise, you're wasting time. Otherwise, you're spending 30 minutes doing one rather than 6 minutes effectively doing one. Which I think is the main thing that makes it seem like it's taking more time. Are the 5-star EVs, too? Yes, there's 5-star EVs. I don't think there's 6-star EVs, though. I haven't seen any. At least not through the event. Unfortunately, their special loot is really bad. Because they just give evolution items instead of, like, actual good items. And I guess that makes sense because the time when it came out, they were doing the event because, you know, the game just came out, so they were trying to give some, like, early game items. But the problem with that is everyone who's already in post-game, the loot that you get from EVs from the event are actually kind of bad. As far as their special loot. Because it's stuff of very low value that you wouldn't necessarily really need. Or if you do need it, you'd need it to such a small degree and then never need it again. I probably should have went for the Valraven first. We have gotten a couple of Valravens wanting to really escape today. Also, this will probably be the last one we do for here. And then go clear out the rest of our dailies. As we still have a handful of them to go clear out. I do want to finish them all. Most notably, we haven't even touched the guess that door mechanic yet today. Now, what's behind door number 1? Door number 2 and door number 3. And that will determine our 4, 5, 6. How about a burble simulator? What's a burble? Let's see, we'll throw that down. Does Ring Fit Adventure have a cross-training mode? No. What it does have, though, is you can look at your friends' scores and everything else that they're doing to see how much better or worse you're doing than them, though, which is funny. I'm gonna go grab everything for Bounty Hunter so far. So the only thing we're missing now... Hey, double blue. The only thing we're missing now is the... Oh, triple blue. Nice. But, okay, well, that was already a worthwhile Bounty Hunter. But the only thing we're missing now is the 2 major orbs at the end. Oh, and there's the redeem code from earlier. Okay, anyways, let's go clear all the other dailies, of which there are a small handful. Start with dungeons, and that was quick. Ah, that was double quick. Stay. Well, we've already hit every possible wrong room. Oh, never mind. Wow. What an awful day. Okay, let's see. Well, Webb doesn't really care too much about our Zolgoth. Actually, yes it does, because now I can't... I actually do need Cleanse Team. Am I gonna go out of my way to go build a Cleanse Team? Or just deal with it? You know what? I got a plan. Where is the metals I don't need? There we go. I normally don't go down this route, but I'm definitely going down this route today. I'm going triple Orpheus, because by turn 3 we should be cleansed. If we're lucky, by turn 1. Because one interesting thing about Orpheus is it can do a turn 0 trigger, essentially. So that you have a turn 1 cleanse. And by turn 0, I mean before you can even take your first turn, you can get cleanse. Because the order in which it applies is the status effect, and then at the end you finally get the metal thing triggering. Why are they hitting so hard? How am I already almost dead? I gotta be careful, they 2-shot me at this point. I guess I'm underestimating how deep we are in this mode now. Gosh, since when did they get so good at one-shotting? Like, we had a whole team seconds ago. And now we don't. Oh, you know why? We also got jinxed, which took away some of our stats. No wonder why they're one-shotting us. Okay. I was gonna say, something seems lower. But, yeah, it's their 20% stats due to jinx. That would explain why it's, kind of sketchy. Because I was wondering, like, they shouldn't be able to do that yet. They will be at some point. But they weren't able to do that yet, but it's because the 20% reduction is bringing it to a weirder range than normal. So they're actually able to kill us. that one needs to die. It's still kind of sketchy, though. We can still lose a couple of these. Gosh, all we did was go down one more floor. How did one floor make that big of a difference? Combined with Jinx. I guess because we also have to invest our metals into cleanse right now because of web. Is also making our stats a bit worse, but that wouldn't affect our durability because we'd be running magic regardless. If we were to have anything in that setup, in that situation. Oh, so this is the interesting. This is the first time where we have Leprechaun instead of Thrall. Also, luckily, so far every single starting board has had one or the other, which has been very convenient for our start of a turn. Alright, this still creates the whole 10 gems. So even though we're only getting like 0 damage, we are able to get the full amount of gem spawn, which is the main thing we're looking for anyway, so that works out. And I will Zolgath them the victory. And that one definitely went the smoothest. There we go. Well, that was a slightly sketchy run today. But we're good to go. Alright, let's click back to there. Oh, also I forgot to claim the star for the thing earlier. Got Broken Inspired 24, and you know what else should have another star? White Helm. Oh wait, or not. Oh no, you know why we don't have another White Helm star? We're blocked on leveling it to 18. Also, oddly enough, we're blocked on a level 20 pet as well. Which we need to get... oh, wait! Oh, no! This is actually a situation where you would need the money pet, technically. Though I have no intention to get it to level 18, though. But, yeah, the 4th pet that you would need upgraded are all cosmetic. It's the 2020 anniversary pets, the Liberty Bell for Independence Day last year, and Valentine's Day for 2019? 18? It doesn't have a date, so it should have been pretty early, so probably 2018. Or 2017? 2018, I think. Did they have any in 2017? I don't remember. But, yeah, I think this is a 2018 one. Because I think they started marking all of them back in 2019, I believe. As far as when all of them started getting, like, an actual date on every single one, so they keep track. But, yeah, we don't have that. Interesting. So I have no intention to get it to 27 anytime soon because it requires getting a level 18 kingdom. And getting a level 18 kingdom is a complete waste. For one, we don't even have the deed books for it. Wait, what happened to all of our yellow deed books? Wait. Was that still from when we 16'd every kingdom? I guess so. Have we not gotten a single... Wait, are you trying to tell me for the half year or so that we've had every single kingdom 16'd? That we have gotten 0 yellow deed books between then and now? Because that's what that implies. Is that since we've 16'd every kingdom, we've gotten a total of 0 deed books between that time. Really? Interesting. I did not realize that. I guess that makes sense because, you know, 6 colors, we would have had a lot of other ones. Also, gosh, 110 gems today. Technically 130 if you count the daily. That is a good chunk of gems. Let me go Magnesia. There we go. You got your first where you picked the first 3 doors? Nice, congrats. I'm still looking for mine. I've seen many screenshots of people sending to me that they have gotten top 3. But I unfortunately still have not. Though you're saying that you just picked the 3 correctly, which doesn't necessarily mean top 3. But yeah, I've never done that yet, where my first 3 picks are the correct 3. We will at some point. You think you're done with Puzzle Quest 3 after 14 hours in it? Yeah, it's like that. It is like that. I think I have over 1,000 hours in it total. But it's got burnt out after a year. I do still like the premise. There's just some things lacking in the execution. And the economy of the game is just a little bit too annoying for me to deal with on a regular basis. But if they ever fix that, I wouldn't mind revisiting the game. It's just currently in a really weird state right now. Where it has some things really going for it, but then also has some things really going against it. And the 2 biggest things going against it, I would say right now, is it's too much of a daily grind. And it seems like the player base is slightly too low. which I have concern just with its sustainability at that point. Because Gems of War obviously isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But Puzzle Quest 3, their servers could be down in like a year from now. With current numbers. So it's interesting because they have like development cycles still going for that game. That are pretty much just as consistent as Gems of War. If anything, almost more consistent because they're still working on the game to flesh it out completely. Alright, we did that. I think the only thing I'm missing now is the 10 crowns for today. So let's go grab that real quick. If anything else gets us a little bit of EXP there. It probably will not be enough for a level. However, it will be a good chunk of EXP. And we'll get the level tomorrow night when we finish up Bounty Hunter. And I gotta remember, I do have to use the double Ironhawk team. I can't use triple because, even though the place where we're located at can be one-shotted with 20 damage, the Battle Crusher has exactly 21 durability, which means it will survive a 20 damage poke, meaning that for the entirety of this event, I cannot use, the triple one. I don't know, I still think it's a fun game. If you still enjoy it, I would say still keep playing. And I do plan on revisiting it, assuming servers still exist by that point. By the time they go for like a launch, because they're still technically in beta. I definitely plan to revisit the game once they're not in beta at all anymore. There's just a lot of things that they have to fix. Gems of War was somewhat like that at launch as well. Like, Gems of War, the first year and a half, was almost a game that looked like it would have died. Because after, like, half a year, it had, like, its lowest player numbers, like, ever. But then they started just doing more and more updates. And eventually got to the point where the game was fleshed out enough that it got to thousands of player base. Because Gems of War's lowest point had like, well, I don't know what it would have been on mobile, but its Steam concurrent numbers went as low as like 300-ish. Whereas now the average is like almost always over 1,000. Not counting mobile and everything else. I think the main turning point was, oddly enough, around the time when trait stones came into the game. When they added traits to troops. Because it made them from just having a unique cast to having a unique cast plus a bunch of abilities. Because Pokemon ended up making that shift too. I can't remember what generation they ended up adding it in. I want to say the second or third. Where they added abilities. Because it does something where it's not just the ability, it's not just what you can cast or the moves that you have that matters, but it then becomes what your actual ability is. In the case of Gems of War, that's 3 of them per troop, with Legends and Mythics having a unique final ability. And that definitely diversifies troop options. Though that does start to cause the issue slightly where Epic and below troops become a little bit too samey a lot of times, just because they don't have unique final traits compared to Legends or Mythics. So it's a lot more likely that a Epic or below rarity troop will suffer from just not being viable due to being too similar to another troop already. Besides from that, it really helped to fix everything out. They didn't add it till Gen 3, interesting. Yeah, I know Gen 1 didn't have it. Wasn't sure on Gen 2. It took them 3 gens before they finally did it. Interesting. It just took Gems of War, I think, about a year before they implemented it. And it definitely helped things out a lot. Because it made a lot of things that... actually, it was really funny because of how unbalanced it was initially. There were commons and rares that were stronger than legendaries at the time, because Mythics didn't exist at the time. Most notably, there was a trait that allowed you to do 100% skull damage, or true damage as skulls. This trait currently only exists on one troop now, and it's called Lord of Slaughter. That one Mythic. However, when traits first came into Gems of War, there were a couple dozen of them that had it. And oddly enough, some of the commons and rares that had it were the strongest troops in the entire game, due to them having such low mana cost to cast while still having some good traits. I believe the most noteworthy one was actually Glade Warden, which at the time had 20% dodge, which I don't believe it has anymore, as well as true damage on poke 100% of the time. So not only could it randomly dodge skulls, but it also could one-shot enemies. And the dodge was very useful because even with skull reduction, you were probably still getting one-shotted due to how broken the true damage was at the time. So having dodge was very, very useful to make sure you occasionally did not get one-shotted. That was also when Skeleton, I believe, had an attack gain instead of an armor gain, which made it very broken. Because Skeleton's actually kind of good. The main reason you generally don't see me using it is there's just better skull spammers out there. But as an early game, and as you're progressing through the game skull spammer, it's still a pretty solid option. It's also still one of the only few options to this day that have a extra turn while creating skulls. And by an extra turn, I mean like literally an extra turn. It auto extra turns you. And as a common, it's actually kind of insane how good it is. Like in the current balance of the game, that's like something a legendary would have as its ability. You remember your goblin with 7 damage? Oh yeah, that's fun. I remember this strategy when you first started off the game way back when it was like Crude Club, though I guess it's Hero Sword these days. But it was like Crude Club, or these days Hero Sword, combined with Goblin. So that you do the little poke to skip your turn and then kill it out with Goblin. And use... It's something that you actually have to do in early game in Gems of War, that you tend to not do later in the game. But you actually have to use your lack of extra turn on some things in order to skip your turn, in order to force the enemy to take a bad move that will then make them shuffle. It's a very complex mechanic that I feel like most newer players wouldn't really get the grasp of. That is very, very, very strong. Because you don't have as much board control earlier on in the game. To enough of a degree where there's going to be a lot of stalemate boards, where you're just going to keep doing it until there's no moves left and then it gets shuffled. But you always want to make sure you keep an option so that one turn away from what will inevitably shuffle, you force the AI to take it instead of you. And having an option that will end your turn can actually be good in those circumstances. It's not too relevant in late game Gems of War because you have so many loop synergies that go on forever, that or just man accumulate a lot or clear the board so efficiently that you almost never have that circumstance. However, early game Gems of War and even like Arena and some other things can still end up utilizing such a mechanic. Particularly Arena. That's probably where it's used the most in the current state of the game. Aside from early game. Is whenever you're doing Arena. That one mode that barely exists. So how we doing on crowns? Let's see. We still need 2 more, it looks like. Let's keep going. That'll probably be the last thing we go for then. 2 more crowns. Then I think I'm going to get into the last little bit of Thanksgiving food now. I'll probably finish it out tomorrow. I do still have cheesecake left, but honestly, I'm all cheesecaked out. Though I'm not all Thanksgiving fooded out yet, though. Honestly, I could eat that year-round. But I probably shouldn't, because if it makes me this drowsy already... Imagine if it was all year-round. Just knock me out every day. I guess you would eventually build up immunity to it, though. Yeah, Goblin doesn't do much in the current state of the game. Goblins do, the typing of Goblin. But the actual Goblin called Goblin, unfortunately not too usable. Unless you're just like starting out in the game, in which case it's probably your best option you have. There's a lot of really broken Goblins these days. That's actually been something throughout the history of Gems of War that's been really funny to track. It's almost a video we should cover at some point. The history of overpowered Goblin teams in Gems of War. Because they've never not been broken. The least broken they ever were was probably when Frost Mage was meta. Back during the age of Double Frost Mage. Before Mana Burn immediately existed, and back when it was the highest damage option you really had. Was probably the lowest points Goblins ever were. The current state of the game I would not say is the highest point goblins ever were, though they are still pretty high right now. I just wouldn't say it's the highest point they've ever been at. Despite them having literal infinite loops that don't end. Because they have the most consistent infinite loop in the entire game. Where it's not even like a pseudo-infinite, where like infinite's long enough to win. It is like literally infinite. As in you can cast it 1,000 times, 10,000, 100,000, a million, and you will not drop it. It's true infinite as long as you don't misclick. Because all you need is Green Storm, Farce Troll, Double Truffle. Once you have that set up, regardless of what your hero weapon is, you have infinite mana. You can cast any number of times without fail, as long as you don't misclick. Yeah, almost every goblin has extra turn after spell. Which is one of the things that just makes them naturally strong. Gaining an extra turn in a turn-based game is always very good. And Gems of War is no different. And in Gems of War, there's no cap to how many extra turns you can get to. Like, unlike some games where you might have, like, X number of extra turns that it limits you to. Gems of War, you can literally do as many as you can possibly get. Meaning you can turn one just infinite something. Assuming you have the setup for it. Yeah, back when Queen Mab was good, I remember that. Those were the days. Those were some funny times in Gems of War. The days when Queen Mab was good. That was around the time when we made this guild. Is how long ago that was. Like 5.5, 6 years ago. There we go, finally, we got our last little guy. But yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Anything you want me to go over? Otherwise, I believe we are good to go. Tomorrow we'll have that one troop max, so unfortunately not too relevant as it doesn't really do much. I'll be able to go finish out Bounty Hunter, and just kind of poke at all the other events, and hopefully we'll have something good on the adventure board today. Again, tomorrow, I mean. 130 gems today, if you count the daily one as well. Pretty nice sizable amount. And as Genki mentioned, definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream, helps a lot and is greatly appreciated. And also, they seem to have a gem sale going on. I'd probably skip on it, though. It's surely not worth buying gems in Gems of War. But they do have that going on. Which reminds me, I need to go do some shopping. As there's still a couple things I need to pick up while all the sales are around. Grind a level? No, we'll finish the level tomorrow night. We are not ending tomorrow night's stream without that level. But we'll let it sit there for now. Anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 hour prior to now tomorrow. We'll be up exactly at that time and not off slightly. Unless the Thanksgiving food knocks me out again. I highly doubt it, though. Because I don't have that much left. I might even finish it tonight. Because it'll help me fall asleep. But anyways, guys, we will be doing a Pokemon stream tomorrow. Exact time of it starting might be closer to noon, but I might also start closer to 10. It's mostly just going to be a bunch of grind. They have some kind of EV event going on. I mostly wanted to do a couple grinds on getting some competitive Pokemon and some other stuff like that. We might start doing our first ever shiny hunting soon, though. So we could do that, because I haven't really bothered trying to shiny hunt in the game yet. I'm mostly just prepping for having Pokemon to actually use, rather than specifically shiny hunting. But yeah, I'll be doing that around 10 or noon tomorrow and go for several hours. Probably be the shortest Pokemon stream we've done yet, but we'll be messing around with it for a little bit. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for stopping by, and have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for stopping by.